Good afternoon, guys. It's Working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. And we're looking at EOS to the dollar on Bitfinex. I've got the 4-hour chart up now. And guys, man, I mean the bulls are really they're really putting up a good show here so far in the last few days. Last we talked, at least on video. Actually, I think my last message was a couple days ago. Price was sitting within this wedge I've got denoted down here. I said price was continuing to consolidate, lower highs, higher lows, and as it approached the apex, we were more than likely going to see a breakout in one direction or another. I said that my bias was we were going to break up. And I said that because we were seeing Bitcoin move, we were seeing some volume increase, and we got this nice bounce off of the 786 fib level down here. We got a nice little look up. Let me zoom in here a little bit for you guys so you can get a little better look. We had a very nice bounce right off the 786 fib, and really it was just by a wick. It was really consolidating right on top of the 618, which was a very bullish sign. You guys can see here, it came down, bounced right off the 786, just a perfect bounce, came back up, kind of consolidated right on top just by a wick a few times on top of the 618 before continuing to take off. So that was showing some market structure. That was showing me this was in fact a 1 and a 2. I told you this looked like an extremely healthy 1. This pullback, even though it went a little deeper than I would have liked, we got to the 786. That's no problem. That's perfectly acceptable. And now we've got to the edge of this wedge, and we saw a perfect little breakup, guys. And we're seeing structure in the market, and I can't tell you how important that is. Especially if we're going to have any kind of a longer term, and by long term I'm using that term very loosely, and I say maybe weeks to months. I'm still not convinced that that this is the bull run we're all waiting for, but at least in the short term, if this is to have any legs, we need to see structure in the market. And we're so far guys, we're seeing that. We had a break up. It hit this resistance area here between 730 and 770. That was a nice little excuse me, had been a nice resistance in the past. Hit that, consolidated just a little bit before taking off again. Once again, hit the resistance that we saw here between 795 and 810, consolidated a little bit, and then just recently shot back up again, and once again hit this resistance between 860 and $9. Excuse me, guys. We're getting pauses where we should get pauses. We're getting bounces where we should get. I mean, so far, like I said, guys, we're getting volume increase. The volume has been pushing this. The volume so far has not just died. I mean, we've got spikes, but it hasn't just completely died as it had in the past. So. So far, guys, we're seeing the beginnings of what might, I'm not saying this is, but what might be a longer-term bull run. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, obviously, we need to take out the prior high. Prior high was at about 944, guys. We've got to take that out. It's critical that we take that out if we are going to have any legs on this. Excuse me. So let's dig in and let's see. Have we seen the top at least so far? Are we going to get some consolidation? Well, how can we call this here? In my opinion, I think we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the question is, have we seen the top of this wave 5? Well, assuming this is all wave 3, and I do believe this is wave 3 because this is the only way that we can get 5 clear waves in here. We have 1, 2, subwaves, excuse me, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got 5 clear subwaves. Wave 3 is not the shortest. It still was impulsive, even though wave 5 was longer. That's acceptable because wave 1 was shorter. So we've got 5 subwaves within this wave 3, so that's a very impulsive, very healthy looking wave 3, and now we've got a wave 5. Excuse me, guys. So if we're looking for the top of this wave 5, since wave 3 was extended to it went just above the 1618, which is a very elongated wave 3. Excuse me, guys. I need coffee. Let me stand by 1 second. Let me get a drink of water. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had a frog in my throat there. So we would expect wave 5 to at least pull a 1-to-1. Excuse me, guys. I can't get that frog out of my throat. At least a 1-to-1 of the third wave. Right now, we're not getting that. It's starting short, but that's almost to be expected. We did have a lot of resistance. There was a nice little supply zone up in here between $8.60 and $9. In fact, if I pull the daily, you can see it a little bit better. We can see that was a decent little supply zone, as I said, between $8.60 and $9. So we may not get up to the 1-to-1, but as of right now, it looks like we may possibly get a push a little bit higher, maybe another little wick up here to touch maybe 930 or so before it does correct. But I believe we're reaching possibly the top of that wave 5. If that's the case, we're going to expect a pullback. Where can we expect a pullback to? Well, I'd expect certainly possibly a pullback to the bottom of this support zone here. Resistance, which would more than likely start acting as support. So the bottom of this zone would be about 860 or thereabouts. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a pullback to just the bottom of this zone here, possibly around 845 or thereabouts. So I wouldn't be surprised to see kind of a pullback of an ABC, something like this. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like this before we continue on. Actually, I wouldn't even be surprised to see it go a little bit deeper than that. Something like this before we continue on. And that's assuming that we're at the top of wave 5 here. This may, as I said, guys, this may bring up a little bit higher. We may end up going up to about 944, 945, somewhere thereabouts. That'd give us more of the one-to-one that we were looking at. But, as of now, assuming we've reached the top, I do expect a pullback, somewhere in this zone, somewhere at the bottom between 860 and 840. Somewhere in there, and then assuming that volume continues, assuming that this just wasn't pure manipulation, and we continue to get the follow-through, guys, in volume, then more than likely we're going to continue to the upside. Next zone we're going to be looking at is at 944. We've got to decisively take out the top, that prior high at 944, and then from there, once we do take out that high, more than likely we're going to head up in here into the 1020 to 1070. That's going to be a very, very strong resistance zone up in there, guys. Very, very strong resistance zone. I say that because, excuse me, guys. I say that because that was the prior high. If we go from this entire structure, if we go from the swing high to the swing low, now let me grab that fib. Sorry, guys. We go swing high to swing low. We can see that the 618. Yeah, well, actually, the 618 is more in the between 1180 and 1280. But the 382 and the 0.5 fib falls right between that 1020 and 1070. So more than likely, that's going to be a very, very strong zone. Certainly, all eyes are going to be on, if we continue to the upside in the next week or so, we're going to be looking at the 618 fib going to the upside. The reason I say that is right now, all algos are looking for targets as if this is in a downtrend. So it's kind of looking for a bounce somewhere between the 0.5 and the 618 more than likely before it's going to start picking targets down to the downside once again. If we can get price above the 618 fib, so above 12 to 1230, somewhere thereabouts, if we can get above that zone, now algos are going to start picking targets to the upside. And from that point, I'm going to start getting extremely optimistic. We still need to take out that $14, $13.95 to $14.70 zone, and then from there it's off to the races if we can get that high. But I don't mean to get ahead of myself, guys. That's just kind of a long-term perspective. But for now, we are looking extremely healthy. The next thing we're going to be looking at is taking out the top of this $9 zone, $9 resistance, and then once again taking out the top of the prior high, which was at about 944 or thereabouts, guys. So that's what we're looking at here in the short term. Looking at our RSI, we can see this is on the 4-hour. The stock RSI is very oversold. The 4-hour RSI is also oversold. So once again, tells me that more than likely we are going to see a little bit of a pullback. If we're looking at the daily, we can see the daily RSI. We've been watching this descending resistance line for a long time, guys, and it finally just broke out decisively. A very, very bullish sign. I told you, I think that we were looking for, I said if price broke through there, more than likely we're going to see a continuation to the upside, and it did. It didn't even acknowledge it, just broke right through. All right, so looking at the stock RSI, we can see on the daily it's also reaching oversold zone. So yeah, as I said, guys, more than likely we're going to see a little bit of a pullback before we continue to the upside. And I do believe, just based on everything I'm seeing right now, the strengthening in the market, I do believe that based on volume, based on the way that the structure is looking, the way we're hitting these fib levels, the way that we're hitting our resistance areas and then continuing up, it's just looking very, very healthy. Right now we're looking at the daily. We can see that we've broken out of this descending channel that I referred to a few updates ago. Actually, I believe 2 days ago, I believe it was. So if we can get the daily candle, guys, to close, we had it open. Now, if we can get the daily candle to close above this descending resistance, it's going to be extremely bullish. And as of right now, certainly looks like it's going to do that. Zooming in here, I've got the 55-day EMA is in pink, 21-day EMA is in yellow, 8-day EMA is in blue. We can see prices broke above the 21-day EMA, which was acting as resistance. That's a very bullish sign. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the 55-day EMA. If we can break above that, once again, extremely bullish. Ideally, though, today we're wanting the daily candle to close above the 21-day EMA. Again, if we can get that, it's going to just show continuation of market strengthening. Looking at the 4-hour, we can see price is above the 8-day EMA. 8-day EMA is now risen above the 21 and 55-day EMA. It's a very bullish setup. We can see that the 21-day EMA is risen above the 55-day EMA. So we've got the 55-day EMA on the bottom. Again, a very bullish setup. So this is looking real good, guys. So far, so good. I don't want to, again, I'm cautiously optimistic. Again, I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback in the short term and then a continuation up. But for now, guys, things are looking fairly good. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.